Our world is changing in many ways. Our students need the skills to learn, live, and thrive. Our mission: every scholar, every day, college bound. Welcome to Southlake High School in Groveland, Florida. Southlake High School serves a population of 1,827 students and 95 instructional staff. In 2014, Southlake teachers, students, administrators, and stakeholders began the planning phase of a change to the traditional model in meeting the needs of each student in an organic environment that allows for student voice and choice in the learning while focusing on building relationships with others and leveraging our strengths while developing real-world skills to thrive in life.
It was evident that our scholars needed something different to prepare for college and careers. As we began planning for personalized learning on our campus, we knew we must define what personalized learning would look like at Southlake High School.
Our planning began in the summer of 2014 after being selected to participate in the Lake County Schools Next Gen Systems Planning Grant for Personalized Learning. During the planning phase, we assembled a team of teacher leaders to research and investigate personalized learning best practices and application in schools throughout the country. We took a close look at what was being lauded as best practices in the areas of technology resources, flexible learning environments, learner profiles, standards mastery, project-based learning, and inquiry learning. We investigated schools that served a similar population to Southlake High School and communities that shared similarities to Groveland, Florida, a rural community outside of Orlando with a strong agricultural workforce. We found very similar matches in the Piedmont School District in Piedmont, Alabama, and Taylor County Schools in Kentucky. We worked with their leadership teams and visited campuses to hear from teachers and students about how personalized learning was implemented on their campuses and began to identify possible solutions to our specific challenges at Southlake High School. Our challenges included slowly increasing percentages of students passing state-mandated accountability testing, the need to increase college and career readiness, apathy of the students' ownership in their learning, and a teaching staff that felt underempowered and equipped to meet the increasingly diverse needs of their students. Southlake developed a 3-year plan to campus-wide personalized learning implementation for all students. To begin our plan, we started with feedback. We conducted focus groups, surveys, and stakeholder meetings with students, parents, teachers, staff members, and community partners to establish both a needs assessment and climate dipstick to focus our group on the wants and needs of our plan. These were synthesized into focus areas that seem to represent the collective voice of our stakeholders. Specifically, more course accessibility, students not being defined by a test, hands-on learning, the ability to accelerate learning, mastery learning, and accessibility to college and career preparation. From our feedback sessions, we established a structure that placed the student and their individual plan at the center of the learning and then began to establish what systems of support should be in place to ensure not only their learning path, but what was needed to ensure that there was accountability to the student plan and that it was focused on college and career readiness. It was apparent that we needed structure to how a student progressed through the ownership of learning assimilation and how we would support this progression. We created this assimilation and progression plan to concretely define how a student would evolve to having autonomy in their learning plan. We felt that this structure supported and respected the learner at all levels from beginner to professional. This is a keystone to our learner profile and portfolio process. You have a handout that describes this process in more detail. We established goals to let us know if our plans were working, all directing to 100% of Southlake High students on personalized learning plans by August 2018. Now let's take a look at some of our teacher leaders on campus.
As we planned for implementation, we realized the biggest shift was that we teach scholars, not subjects. The subjects are the vehicle we use for connecting our students to the world they live in outside the school walls. We want to prepare them to thrive in life.
We planned for developing a learning ecosystem on our campus that had a foundation in mutual respect for the learning environment and each other, and a place where staff and students leveraged the strengths of each other. Each of our teachers participated in professional development that focused on discovering their strengths and those of their colleagues, and how to leverage their strengths and those of others to best serve our student population. The faculty also participated in sessions on how to develop project-based learning opportunities for their students and mastery-based learning that allowed students to progress at varying paces.
Mastery of the standards is really our primary focus on the English team here at Southlake High School. We find that students are almost seemingly programmed to simply try an assignment once or an assessment once and then just sort of move on regardless of the result. We find that with this mentality, there's really not a motivation or an urge to improve. So what we want to do here at Southlake is build a much more strong culture of persistence among our students. And in order to do that, we're going to provide students with more personal feedback and more individual support in order to encourage them to address the issues that they have as a student and sort of to close those gaps in learning. So that we can ensure that our students are growing every day.
Knowing that our biggest challenge would be changing the mindset of our students from a system of school being done to them to a system of student ownership of the learning, our team decided that it was imperative to spend focused time with the students before the coursework started to establish a common language, clear expectations, build relationships, focus on positive leadership, and explore areas of interest within our elective and career technology courses. From that, we planned for a 9th grade conference the first week of school before scheduling students into teams.
So when I first came to Southlake, the main idea that everyone was pushing was to build relationships with the students, and I thought that was so awesome. And so that first week, that whole conference week, the main goal was to build relationships with the students and to have the students build relationships with each other, which is really important for freshmen coming into a new school and first year high school. Another thing we focused on was we really focused on creating SOPs, standard operating procedures. These are important for the personalized learning process because they need to know what is expected out of them every single day, especially when they are taking control of their own learning. Another thing that we really focused on over and over, I kept hearing it, was respect, respect, respect. We say that all the time, but kids, you can say you need to respect me, but what does respect mean? And so we really laid out what respect looked like for them so that they could act upon that throughout the rest of the year in their classes, in the hallways, on their teams. And then the part that I thought was extremely cool was we spent time motivating them. We motivated them to change their thoughts, to say, it doesn't matter where you came from, it doesn't matter how you got here, you have a chance to do something with yourself, and we're going to give you that chance. And you need to change your mindset to know that you have this opportunity no matter what, and we're here to help you along the way.
Week 2, the scholars received their course schedules and began attending their classes. Ninth grade students were scheduled onto teams of approximately 150 students with their 4 core teachers having common planning. This allows a structure for the teachers to know the students on their team, cross-content plan, and provide for flexible time as the year progresses. Additionally, ninth grade students have been matched with a success coach based off of interest, connections, strengths, and needs. Ninth grade students must meet weekly with their success coaches to plan their week, review their progress, and for motivation and accountability support.
During success coaching, we're able to give students guidance, build trust, and push each student to use their strengths and the strengths of those around them to solve problems and grow. Success coaching also allows us time to continue not only building the relationships with every student, but also growing and understanding for how these relationships and connections are so important in creating plans for students to reach their goals.
Success coaching is a Power Hour session required for all ninth graders, and Power Hour is afforded to all students on South Lake's campus. Power Hour sessions range from special interest meetups to tutoring, and from college and career speakers and planning to makerspace time.
Critical skill for our scholars is time management. Through our campus-wide implementation of Power Hour, we're growing these capacities. This is an opportunity for students to have voice and choice in sessions that they attend or host.
It was important for South Lake High School to establish focus areas for growing capacities on our campus for personalized learning. We learned that many of our stakeholders initially thought that personalized learning was a technology initiative. We knew that we had work to do to provide a clear understanding that personalized learning was not virtual school and that technology is a resource in the learning. We host regular parent meetings in the evenings to familiarize our parents with the what, why, and how of our PL program and ramp up, and allow them to ask questions and voice concerns. We also established a school profile and personalized learning section of our website to assist with communicating our message and allowing stakeholders a direct way to give input and ask questions to our PL team. Now let's take a look at our classroom implementation from our classroom teachers.
Many of our parents felt that this was an initiative.
By utilizing online resources, we were able to meet students where they are and allow flexibility in both their pace and learning environment. In my AP Environmental Science classes, students are able to work on their online components in their coursework at their pace, while I work with smaller groups or individuals on their hands-on labs or their portfolio-based learning projects.
Individual learning plans for my students focuses their learning on the standards they need. I use technology to keep the students engaged in learning whilst I'm working with individuals. Many choose videos over textbook, given a choice. The class structure enables me to work with individuals or small groups, conferencing and helping them with their needs.
Hi, my name is Chris Howard. I'm a construction technologies teacher here at Southlake High School, and talking a little bit about personalized learning and what it means to the construction program at Southlake. It's a tremendous opportunity, and some things we're doing down here where we're taking the Florida standard and benchmarks as it relates to construction, and we're allowing students to group up in like-minded interest groups, and we're providing and doing projects that interest them. So we're giving them the flexibility to choose the project as it applies to the standard, and allowing them to design a project that interests them, meets the Florida standard, and by doing that they take a whole lot of pride in what they're actually doing and an interest. Rather than me telling them exactly what project to do, they have that flexibility, and I'm finding that the pride in the project and their engagement's just tremendous. So by doing that, we also can show them how it relates to the real world as it applies to science, math, language arts, social sciences, so that we're able to show them the real world application coming from their core studies into the world of construction, and how we translate that to the field when they're done with their high school education and as they move on. So I think personalized learning has done that for us, and I think it's a tremendous opportunity, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Southlake High School's personalized learning plans wraps around these 5 guiding principles. We believe that students deserve an environment that enables them to reach their potential and to challenge themselves to excel and to reach readiness for both college and careers. We respect our work and the work of others and acknowledge that building those around us is the best way to build ourselves. We independently learn and come together to think, to listen, and to speak, and then apply our learning in meaningful ways. We use formal and informal data to make informed decisions about our learning and to measure our successes. We transform our learning into genuine and relevant impacts on both our local and global communities. And most of all, we spark the passion to learn, live, and thrive. Thank you.